ridiculous. Second division is very bad.
Of all the wonderful players to have worn the distinctive black and white stripes, only two have captained them to European Cup glory: Frenchman Michel Platini and Italian Gianluca Vialli.
Juventus has got a huge amount of followers in Italy. According to the stat, 11 million actually supports Juventus, which is huge. It's like a third of the country supports Juventus and two-thirds of the country. The rest of the country basically support the other 40 clubs. It's a bit like Manchester United.
It's been a very turbulent time in the club's recent history, beginning 6 years ago when they thought they'd retain the Italian title. Instead, they were taken to court and shamed.
Something really terrible happened, and I think that Juventus tried to become a bit too powerful, cut corners, and the club was found guilty of bribing referees and trying to fix matches, and together with that also trying to control throughout their own people the Italian Football Association, the media, even the transfer market. So as you can imagine, it was a shock.
Embarrassed, stripped of 2 titles and relegated, the long road back began amongst the tourists in Rimini.
Best players left the club, but 2 players, Buffon and Del Piero, they showed amazing loyalty to the club. They went down to the first division, and it was amazing to see them accepting the situation.
The Juve rebirth has been best symbolised by their new stadium. It was opened a year ago, not by Barcelona or Manchester United, but Notts County, as thanks for sending the shirts all those years ago.
I mean, the first club in Italy to build their own stadium. Its own stadium has been a very successful one. Now the Juventus stadium is beautiful. It's like a very cosy stadium with great atmosphere. It's very much like an English stadium.
There was instant success. Juve remained unbeaten in the league all season, playing in a thrilling manner under Vialli's old teammate Antonio Conte.
His style of football is very, very modern, fast, aggressive, very intense, very solid defence, but always sort of an offensive thinking side. And obviously having Pirlo in the middle conducting.
Conte survives at the club despite being found guilty this summer of knowing about match fixing but not reporting it while coach of Siena. He's still angry with the verdict and his 10-month ban.
Basically the players on the pitch had reached an agreement so that Siena would have let Albino Leffe win the game. Because in Italy, in the first division, unfortunately, that's what happens at the end of the season. You scratch my back this season, and I'll scratch yours next season, or vice versa. So, according to the authorities, Antonio Conte, being the manager, was aware of what was going on the pitch and didn't alert the authorities, and that's why he was banned.
Se vedevo qualcosa avrei dovuto denunciare. Ma se non ho visto niente, io che devo denunciare? Ma mi devo inventare una denuncia? Ma di che stiamo parlando?
He will be able to coach and train the team during the week, but he will not be able to sit on the bench on match days and basically manage the side and make decisions throughout the game.
16 years ago, Conte and Vialli helped make Juventus the kings of Europe. A few weeks later, they and their clubs began on different journeys.
I think that Chelsea is probably seen as a bigger club in Europe than Juventus because of the sort of the history of the last few years at European level. Abramovich acquiring and signing players from all over the world. So they've got very much an international profile right now. Juventus has got to regain that.
Certain names and certain shirts just belong in the Champions League.